So most recently, a young man ends up shooting up a school. And one of the reasons why he did it was because he idolized this mass shooter, who was a young man from a broken home, and ended up taking out his frustration in a most bombastic way. Now this young man kind of like had no chance. He's being bullied by his family. His mom went ahead and took her hands off of him. The father is just as abusive, and his school and peers was abusive to him as well. So I guess in the young man's mind, it was more so like a swan song. Because you did this to me, I'm going to return the favor. In his mind, it must have been kind of like, look what you made me do. Or look what you gave me permission to do. He can go and stand there, idolizing his work, and knowing that the whole world will be sorry for what they did to him. And I can only think about the only influence that man had that went ahead and made him do it was because he idolized that mass shooter. And a little bit of it, the family wasn't really watching what the kid was consuming. Because the more unstable that you are, it's easy to really just topple somebody over. And this dude was the most unstable and shaky he's ever been. And instead of giving this, little dude some help, or having someone go to him where he can go and process his feelings, the father, in all of his knowledge, gives him an AR-15. Even though they had previously been investigated by the FBI and had investigators go over to their house saying, look, your kid is a danger. The father decides to himself, you don't show me how to raise my kid. You can't tell me what to do. This is my damn kid. I'm going to give this kid a weapon and he's going to go hunting. And in one picture, he ends up killing his first deer. And you're going to see the blood smeared all over his face. And the little kid is happy about it. Now, if you're a young man and you got your first kill, whether or not that's a dog, cat, or any other animal, most kids would be in fear. I'm not touching the damn body. Most kids would be scared to death, and he's smiling. To me, I would say to myself, it probably is about time that we get this kid some help. Because at that time, the father wasn't able to really just recognize the danger signs. So yeah, saying that, in our own personal lives, we have to go and watch what we're listening to. Watch what we consume. Because just like all that content was bad for that kid, we're doing the same thing with platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and even Facebook. We used to have a pastor used to teach us, watch what you feed your spirit, man. That subconscious that's inside your head is always listening. So it's always on the lookout for the messaging that you send yourself. For example, I'm ugly. I'm dumb. I'm slow. Even if you said in a way that's kidding, your mind, subconscious, and body interprets that as real messaging. And eventually, if you tell yourself that enough, or if someone else tells you that enough, you start to identify as that. And if you don't break the cycle pretty soon, you can identify it and choose that way of thinking as a lifestyle, as opposed to a choice. The same way that this dude went over, whatever other type of internet site that it went to, and and started looking up this mass shooter. He listened, he consumed, and he identified. And eventually, it got in his head that that's all that I want to do. I want to take out my pain in a way that's memorable. I want to take out my pain in a way that's powerful. I want to take out my pain in a way that makes people recognize how much in pain I am. And mostly, I want to go and get back at my parents for giving me such a shitty upbringing. That trauma will not be forgotten, it will not be forgiven. Now just think, within all that, tumultuous upbringing, you had something or another to really just counteract that. It could have been so much more different. But instead, he was just left in that storm of confusion, hurt, and bitterness. It could have been so much more different.